Alright guys, so this class is technology integration support, and we are going to talk about various devices here. We will talk about PLC. Let me see if I can write here. Let's see where the pen is. Okay, so in this course we're going to talk about programmable logic controller. We are going to talk about Omnilight Controller. We are going to talk about security camera installations. We are going to talk about telecommunication systems, but that would be introduction. Most of these topics would be introductions to these systems. We are going to talk about some audio video systems. And we will also see some HMI, human machine interface. So you guys can see, you guys have been learning different programming languages, and we can see that how we can use those languages in real life. Along with that, we will discuss various network cables. We will talk about different wireless technologies. For example, there is Zigbee, there is Z-Wave. We will also talk about a wire technology, which is UPB, and there is some other data transfer technologies that we will discuss. There is some other minor topics as we go. We will talk about them too. So let's talk about whenever we are talking about a controller, most of the controllers are computers. So what is the basic computer? What is the function of basic computers? So let's talk about that before we dive into PLCs and Omnilight controllers and different wireless technologies. So the computer, this is how it works in a simplest form. Let's say you click on this icon which says Google Chrome. So this is Google Chrome. This is your Chrome tab. You click on this. So when you click on this, what happens is it goes into the computer RAM, random access memory. From random access memory, it goes to the CPU. The CPU execute all the instructions, and then it is displayed on the screen. This is in a very basic form how when you click on this button, which is Google Chrome, it gets loaded to the RAM, then CPU executed, then you see it on the screen. So basic, this is the most basic form there on how the computer works. Now, computer is not just your laptop or your desktop. Is a router a computer? Of course it is. Why? Because it does logical decisions. In fact, it is a when you talk about internet, it is a very smart computer. So logical decisions. So now the logical decisions, let me give you an easy example in C language to make more sense of it. So let's say in C language, what we say is int a equal to 5. What does this statement mean? It means create a space and put 5 in it. Create a space where? In this RAM. So we are creating a space in the RAM and we are putting 5 in it. Then another line could be int b equal to 6. Create another space and put 6 in it. So we put that in RAM. Then we instruct the computer to do what? Add these two numbers. So we say C equal to A plus B. So we got this space, and A plus B, that is A is this guy, B is this guy, and 5 plus 6 is 11. There we go. Did the computer made a decision? It did. 5 plus 6 is 11. So that is the operation that the CPU performed. Now, if you look at the routers, what does the router do? It select best path to the destination. So here is your computer. It is connected to a router. This router is connected to ISP. The ISP is connected to multiple routers, and let's say you want to reach to Google. Google is right here. So when you want to reach to Google, you can go this way, you can go this way, you can go this way. Which path do you select? That is decided by these routers. And when the devices make decision, that is called computer. So now, what is a PLC? A PLC is programmable logic controller, and it is also a computer. So a PLC is a computer, and it is designed to operate in the industry, in the harsh environment. All right. PLC has some inputs, and then we got outputs, and in between we got decision. You can say CPU. Programming is there too. So we got input. So let's say we turn on an input. If we turn on this input, what should happen? What output should turn on? Output 1 should turn on, output 2 should turn on, output 3 should turn on, and or maybe we would say when we hit this switch, let's say it is a switch, and we want to turn on this output after 5 seconds, so we can put a timer here, and we can say, turn this guy on for 5 seconds. Maybe we can say when this switch is pressed, this light is on, and after the light is on, we wait for 2 seconds, and then a fan is on. So in the very basic form, PLC has input, it has output, and depending on the status of the input, the output could be on or off. Let's look at it to the basic hardware. Right here, if you guys see, this right here would be a power supply. So we would have 120 volt getting into this guy right here, which turned the 120 volt AC into maybe 24 volt DC, and then from there we would step down the DC further, and it would go into your CPU. This power right here is also distributed to all input and output modules. These are input and output modules. Input and output modules. So you get a power supply, and this power supply is connected to your rectifier, you can say. Is connected to rectifier, which convert AC into DC to 24 volt DC. And then from there it is fed into various input output cards. So you guys see, it is designed for machine process control. We control machines with it, like for example motors, and this is a computer which is built for harsh environment. In industry there is a lot of noises and there is a lot of vibrations. So this computer is made up for that kind of environment, and it has input and output interfaces and a control programming language that in the coming sections we will discuss that. Okay, now that is the PLC, where we will do a lot of PLC programming there. Okay, so we will learn ladder logic. You guys will learn some human machine interface too. How do we cross-reference your program into human machine interface, so you can use your fingers and you can touch and start and stop a particular machine. So the PLC could also be used for, let's say, we can control devices in house. For sure we can do that. But we have another controller that is used a lot, which is called Omnilight Controller. So let's talk a little bit about that. So if I come here, this is how it looks. And as we go further and further in the class, if you follow me, you will understand these different controllers very well. I see that there is a lot of people who have issue with PLC out in the industry because they haven't look at the PLC in a numerical form of way, or in a different way, which you guys will see in the upcoming classes. Okay, and you will learn it for good. You will not forget it. That's the problem with the PLC, is that if you don't learn it, then after weeks you don't know the ladder logic anymore. But the way we are going to look at it in this class, that is going to stick to your brain for good. All right, so this is the Omnilight controller, another thing we will discuss in this class. And this one is a pretty simple thing. Right here we have some interfaces. Okay, we have some of our interfaces through which we can connect different wireless devices and wired devices. So what I'm saying is, if you want to control lights, you can use Zigbee technology. So you can buy a Zigbee controller. Your Zigbee controller will connect right here, and all the output devices, let's say lights, maybe fans, etc., they will be your output devices. Yeah, so you want to control those output devices. They will get connected to this controller, the Zigbee controller, and then the Zigbee controller will be connected to Omnilight. So from this Omnilight controller we can control all these lights. Of course, you can write a program on this controller to turn on the lights and turn them off at different timing. You can make different scenes and things like that. We can connect here a Z-Wave controller. We can connect a UPB controller, and those are all the Z-Wave in Zigbee is a wireless technology, and the UPB is a wired technology. And there is other too. There is many other wireless technology. For example, your simple Wi-Fi. We transfer data through Wi-Fi. We can transfer data through UPB. We can transfer data through Z-Wave and Zigbee. We can use PLC, powerline communication. We can use powerline for communication. And that's what we do in the UPB. And when we have UPB controller, we use your electrical wires to transfer signal even between substation to substation. We can use PLC, power line communication. So we will talk about it, that how and it is very interesting that the wire is carrying uh, your regular power, and it is also carrying this high voltage power is also carrying your data. So we will talk about that. It is very interesting course. Okay, you can see right here we got a lot of right here you got these connections here, and this right here is your zones, which we will talk about what is a zone. And sorry, this is your input and output. Okay, input and output, and these are your zones right here. So as we go we will talk about the zones as we go further in this class. You got some jumpers here right here, which is very important. It's hard to see. If I make it a little bigger, then you guys can see it. Right here there are some jumpers here, and these jumpers, if you are using RS-232, then the jumper would be in certain position. If you're using RS-485 technology, then you will move this jumper from here to here. Okay. So this Omnilight controller, it has, if you see right here, it has 16 zones. 16 zones. And all these zones, what we do is we connect sensors to them. Okay. Uh, it could be a flood sensor, it could be a smoke detector, it could be, you can connect heating and cooling system. That would also be discussed in this course, is how do we control our heating and cooling system. So that is the Omnilight controller. Then what we would discuss is different kind of cables. We will talk about, for example, before we go to the cables, we can see right here that this is a nice graph where you can see that Zigbee is, as compared to Bluetooth, you can look at the data transfer rate is faster, and then Bluetooth as compared to Wi-Fi is faster. And if we look at Zigbee, it can go longer, it can go further. So if you have Zigbee controller and you are connecting a device right here, I mean, you can go further than Bluetooth. Everybody know that when you transfer from two cell phones, when you transfer data, it has to be very close to each other. So Bluetooth is faster, but the distance, this distance must be shorter. And we see Wi-Fi has a longer coverage. Of course, we have Z-Wave too. Okay, and that would sit somewhere right here. This is a good graph that explain you how these different technologies, which one is faster and which one is slower, and which one is going longer or shorter. All right. Along with that, like I said, we will talk about different type of cables. Okay, we got RJ6, RJ7, and we will talk about technologies such as TIA. We will say 586A and 586B. I might not be right on these numbers, but 586A, 586B. We will talk about crossover cable, straight through cable. We will talk about RJ59 cable, RJ6 cable, RJ58 cable, and all the different connectors which goes with it, like F connectors, and There are other coaxial cables and coaxial connectors that we will discuss. Of course, we will talk about camera system, your security system. How do we nowadays? It is very easy with IP cameras, wireless one, two, uh, very easy to connect them. But we will talk about the analog one, two. We will talk about DVR. Then how do we connect a telephone, the old telephone system, to different kind of blocks? So you will see in the industry a lot that they still have those old telephone systems. How do you wire them? We will discuss that. Audio video system will be discussed. Audio video system will be discussed in this course too. At the end of the day, what we want to achieve is this, that if I have a controller, this, let's say Omnilight controller, how can I connect? Let's say number one, audio video system, heating and cooling system, camera, security system, and any other system that exists in a commercial or home environment. So that would be all, those will be all covered in this course. Along with that, we will discuss the programmable logic controllers, and if you watch these videos, you will learn quite a bit, and I will try to explain things in a simple fashion. So I will also, to all my students, you guys will see the homework in Canvas and the different assignments, and when you guys will come to the lab too, and you will see these devices in real life. So let me know if you guys have any questions. This is just the introduction, the first day of class. Those of you who haven't met me, I am the program director for engineering, and I teach IT courses. Thank you.